Good day, sports fans, and welcome to the sixth and final lecture of Cricket South Africa's Level 3 umpiring course, brought to you by Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. My name is Tom Mokorosi, and as usual, this evening, my co-presenter is Abdullah Steenkamp. On the screen is our poster boy, Stephen Harris, who is online and waiting to chat to us. We will be starting this evening's lecture with an interview with Stephen Harris, who is a Cricket South Africa international panel umpire. So please keep in mind some questions for Stephen Harris. Pick his brain on how to become an international cricket umpire. Stick with us and we will take you places. Just a reminder of what is left of the course. This evening, after the interview with Stephen Harris, Abdullah will be taking us through a revision lecture, which involves about 26 revision questions. And we want to get all of you involved in the answering of those revision questions. And I can guarantee you that if you are able to answer all 26 of those revision questions on your own, then you should be in a fairly good position to pass Cricket South Africa's Level 3 umpiring exam when it comes along on Saturday, the 4th of January, or Monday, the 6th of January, depending on which slot you have picked. A friendly reminder that the exam fees are payable on Thursday, the 2nd of January at 6 p.m. South African time. That is the same time that our lectures start. So keep that in mind to make sure that you don't miss that cutoff. And then you will all receive, those of you who have paid for and registered for the exam, you will all receive a registration email on Friday, the 3rd of January, giving you all the instructions for your online exam that will come along on the 4th or the 6th. Any further questions on exam logistics can be typed into the chat box. As per usual, any and all questions are welcome based on the content that we are presenting. And because it is our final lecture, you can ask absolutely any question about cricket umpiring, and we will endeavor to answer it for you. So, without further ado, let us get into the highlight for me of today's lecture. My very good friend Stephen Harris, who is affectionately known to most of us as Harry, is born and bred in Port Elizabeth, but has been living in Bloemfontein for the last few years. But he finds himself in beautiful Cape Town because he is fourth umpire for the upcoming test match between South Africa and Pakistan starting on the 3rd of January. So good evening, Harry. How are you? Welcome to Cape Town. How is the mother city treating you? Harry, hang on. I need to activate all the users' microphones and cameras. Otherwise, you won't be able to speak to us. So bear with me while I do that, and then we can have a conversation. Please, will all other candidates keep their microphones on mute? Harry, I have now activated everybody's cameras and microphones, and I see you have unmuted your microphone.
Good evening, Tom. Good evening to everybody. How you guys?
Very well, thank you. Enjoying a bit of holiday in between these lectures. And
Yeah,
I, I don't think you had much of a break, have you?
not much, Thomas. But the little break I did have, I got to spend a good few days with the family. When I say a good few, if you're talking 5 to 7 days, that's a lot in cricket season. So yeah, made my way to Cape Town today, and we arrived, and like you say, the mother city, it's beautiful out there. Weather's good, and looking forward to the second test.
Yeah, great stuff. This time of the year, the weather is always pretty special in Cape Town, so let's hope it stays that way for the test match. And that brings me to my first question, Harry. You are the fourth umpire for that particular test. It starts on the 3rd of January. So you guys have flown in on Tuesday for a match that starts on Friday. So can you tell the listeners as to what are some of the duties that the PCT, that playing control team, has to take part in leading up to a test match? Obviously, a big occasion on the cricketing calendar in South Africa.
Yeah, Thomas. Yeah, that's why we come in a little earlier. I'm fortunate to do the second test. So before the first test, obviously we need to you have team meetings with the relevant teams, iron out anything that is in the MOU with regards to playing conditions, any questions they would like to ask, you can give clarity on. As you
Mm.
know, there were new almanacs brought out on the 1st of December with one or two little different things, and they took immediate effect. So you would discuss things like that. And then us moving to Cape Town earlier, what will happen is we will go and do a ground inspection. Our match referee will meet with the stadium manager and all his team. We will meet with the DRS technician, ensure everything's set up there. We meet with the groundsman and just satisfy ourselves that everything is ready for game day so that we're well prepared in advance.
Awesome. Are you going to attend Nets, or was that done before the first test match, Harry?
It was done before, but I am sure that we will be. They have two actually practice sessions tomorrow and on the 2nd. So the 2nd will become our bigger day where we will meet at the ground for the inspection in the morning, and then we'll attend Nets at that session. Because as you know, obviously the international guys move. One comes off from field, goes to TV, and the other has to stand. So normally that you find the guys want to have a stand just for a few balls. So we'll get all that done on Tuesday. No, not Tuesday, the 2nd. I don't even know what day of the week it is.
Correct. I think it's Wednesday, the
Yeah,
2nd of Jan.
yeah, that's it.
Great stuff. So tell us about match day and the duties of the fourth umpire. I know a lot of the candidates online, we obviously teach them about on-field umpiring, and we touch on TV umpiring here and there, but we never really speak about the fourth umpire or the reserve umpire. What are some of the duties that you will be carrying out during the 5 days of the test match?
Yeah, well, being the fourth umpire, well, firstly, you leave in the morning a lot earlier before the rest of the team and the match referee, and you ensure that everything is sorted out at the ground. You make sure that covers are removed and that the pitch is cordoned off, and you just ensure that everything is ready. You're ready with balls for ball selection on day one. You're ensuring the people that are going to do your spare stumps and that they're available and ready. And so you just sort out all of that in the morning. So you go quite some time before that you can just ensure that your colleagues in the PCT come there and basically everything's ready for them to perform their duty. So yeah, you do that. Then obviously during the day you ensure you have the ball selection. Then you in control of that. If we have any light issues, which we definitely hope we don't have in Cape Town because it's so beautiful and light until very late, you ensure that the light meter is available, and yeah, that's it for the day. And then at the end of the day, You also got to ensure that if maybe any footholds need to be repaired or anything that's been requested gets done, and you ensure that the surface is covered properly before you leave the field.
Nice one. So it's a long day. You're the first to arrive and probably one of the last to leave, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes the first time you see them is walk down onto the field, and you'll see them again maybe the next day because they would have gone by the time you are finished doing your duties. Yes.
Sure, sure. Excellent. A lot of hard work behind the scenes, and I think a lot that umpires moving up the ladders need to learn about before they can think of even getting to your level. So, Harry, I've got your CV in front of us. 24 T20 internationals. That's quite a lot in a short space of time. Well done.
Thank you.
Nine women's ODIs, 10 women's T20 internationals, 91 first class matches. That's a lot of time in the sun. I can see it's taking its toll on your skin. 78 List A games. For those who don't know, those are 50 over provincial matches. And then 119 T20, either domestic or franchise games. Is there any one particular game that stands out as your favorite up to now? Why is it your favorite, and when exactly did that game take place?
Um, Thomas, yeah, one of my favorite games. It actually doesn't wasn't even my T20 debut because I had done a qualifier before that in Africa in Rwanda. So I reckon my favorite and one of my most special games was South Africa versus Australia T20 in Durban. Um,
Hmm.
it was a bilateral series. It was, like I said, it wasn't my debut according to stats, but it was a high-profile game, and yeah, it's a great atmosphere, sold out crowd, high scoring game, and my family was there, which was cool to celebrate that with me. So that's a game I'll definitely won't forget, and I enjoyed very much so.
Nice. So, Harry, having gotten to where you are now, what would you say is the best piece of umpiring advice you've ever received? And maybe it's kind of helped you to, along the way, get to where you are and also pushing you along to further heights.
Well, the late Murray Brown, I was mentored by and was very close to, and it's such a cliche little comment, was control the controllables.
Mm,
And he told me that at a Coke week many years ago. I think it was 2009 or 10, whenever it was. And he was the umpire manager at that. And he said to me, don't ever look too far ahead. Control what you can control now, and the path will come that you're meant to be put on. So don't sit there and focus and think, I would love to do that test match, because that's thinking way too far ahead. You're not even near that state yet.
mm.
You've got to be thinking short term, control what I can control. What can I do better? Can I prepare better? Can I be fitter? Can I do all those things? So it's such a whole cliche thing, but control the controllables. But the discussion we had around that was so relevant that you just don't look too far ahead. And wish that you were somewhere where you haven't even taken the baby steps yet. You haven't crawled yet, but you're wanting to sprint at the end.
Cool, cool. Stay in the moment, I guess, and yeah,
Yes,
make sure you are actually doing the best where you are at that point in time.
yes, definitely.
Excellent, excellent piece of advice. So obviously over your umpiring career, you've seen and come across a lot of good, great, excellent umpires. What would you say differentiates an average or a good umpire from a great or excellent umpire?
Um, Thomas, I reckon it's that umpire that is willing to do those 1% more things. And people always ask, what is that 1% more thing? It's doing those things when no one's looking. For the people that are on this, I was a very large man when I started umpiring, and I had to shed weight to be able to stay long and 4-day cricket and all the rest. And I had to go and do that. For me was 1%. Get onto a diet, get fitter, read laws more. When I first started, laws weren't my thing. Get involved in training. And those little 1%ers that you do will put you ahead of another person. Like I'd said in the previous question, you can't look way too far ahead. Do the 1% thing better. What is a 1%? Looking after your own health, training, staying fit, reading through playing conditions and laws, getting to know them. If you're in your union, try and go and assist with training, because that is one of the best ways. And Tom and Abdullah, I'm sure you guys would agree with this. Your law knowledge, by the way, when you're doing training and interacting with people, just becomes so much clearer and so much better. So yeah. That's it.
Cool. Excellent advice. Thanks, Harry. Last question from my side before we open up the floor to the viewers. Any words of inspiration for an aspiring international umpire who might be listening in today?
Stay grounded, take it step by step, control what you can control, and don't always wish for where someone else is. Your time will come in the sun, definitely.
Brilliant, wise words. Thanks, Harry. Of course, I'm not going to open up the floor before I give my colleague Abdullah a chance to give you a virtual hug, first of all, and
I knew
then
that.
a question from Abdullah. Over to you, Abdullah.
Hello, Harry. Yes, virtual hug coming up. Can you feel it, Harry?
I can feel it. Abdullah, I'm actually to all the listeners and that, I can't get my camera to work because I just thought you would like to see me, Abdullah. I know that.
Yes, I was definitely after this lecture, I was going to video call you via WhatsApp.
Oh, no, brilliant.
Harry, my question is just in terms of umpiring and the rewarding aspect of umpiring, and what is the best part of umpiring?
The most rewarding thing, Abdullah, you just got to remember you've got the best seat in the house. As an umpire in a cricket match, as an umpire, you've got to love the game. You've got to enjoy the game. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing what you do. You wouldn't stand 100 overs a day if you didn't enjoy doing it. And I really enjoy my job. So the enjoyment aspect of having the best seat in the house and watching some of the best cricketers and some of the best batters, bowlers is for me phenomenal. That's really important.
Yeah, I think for me, Harry, you've hit the nail on the head because we've all started umpiring because we love watching cricket. And I think the day that you stop enjoying watching cricket from the best seat in the house, that's probably when you should hang your clicker up and call it a day, isn't it?
100%, Tom. You know, so often we forget to enjoy. We put ourselves under so much pressure internationally because you have so many viewers and there's DRS. And for us guys in South Africa on SA20, because it's widely viewed, the numbers are massive. We put ourselves under so much pressure that we forget sometimes to enjoy yourself. I mean, I've gone through those stages in your career. You have those, and then you got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? It's because I enjoyed what I was doing from the start.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's easier said than done, guys, but you've got to try and keep enjoying yourself, please. Because that's like Tom, you said, otherwise you hang that clicker up. So enjoyment's a big factor. Also difficult at time when the pressures are extreme.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking out time out of your busy schedule. I'm sure the Playing Control team has got something special planned for New Year's Eve. And if I don't see you before next year, Harry, Happy New Year to you and your family. I will be giving you a call later tonight because I've got dozens of people asking me for tickets for the New Year's Test match. And the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association allocated all their tickets last night during our lecture. So Abdullah and I were not able to claim any tickets. So
No,
now we are left to different means for getting tickets for the New Year's Test match. Please take my call.
yeah, we'll definitely chat later.
Okay, great stuff. Thanks so much, Harry, and regards
Thanks,
to
brother.
the PCT, and
I
we'll
will
see you
definitely.
guys at Newlands. Enjoy the
Awesome.
evening, and
Enjoy the lecture, gents. Yeah, to everyone out there, enjoy the lecture.
thank you so much. Cheers, Harry.
Cheers, bud. Cheers. Bye.
Right, so a few of you have asked over the couple of lectures as to when is a delivery bowled and becomes a dead ball, but doesn't count as a legal delivery in the over. So there's a few places in the law book where this is detailed, and I decided it would be easiest to put it all on one slide. In fact, it fits onto two slides so that you are able to remember the instances a lot easier. Also, after these two slides, I will be giving you some exam tips, and the exam tips will actually tie up to these first two slides. So listen carefully, not just to the instances, but also to the exam tips given afterwards. So in Law 20, the dead ball law, either umpire shall call and signal dead ball on about 14 different circumstances. And some of them, even though the ball has been delivered and played by the striker, the ball shall not count as a legal delivery and needs to be rebowled. Let us look at those instances. First one is if the striker is not ready for the delivery of the ball, and if the ball is delivered, makes no attempt to play at it. Typically, when this happens, the striker usually moves away from the stumps to show that he or she was not ready for the delivery, and quite importantly, needs to make no attempt to play at the delivery. In that instance, the bowler's end umpire will call and signal dead ball, and the ball shall not count as a legal delivery in the over, and of course needs to be rebowled. The next circumstance is if the striker is distracted by any noise or movement or in any other way while preparing to receive or receiving a delivery, either umpire shall call and signal dead ball. Again, most likely the bowler's end umpire to call and signal dead ball in this scenario. This shall apply whether the source of the distraction is within the match or outside of the field of play. If there is an instance of a deliberate attempt to distract either the striker or a deliberate distraction, deception, or obstruction of either or both batters, then either umpire shall call and signal dead ball, There's a long list of punishments for these offenses, which is covered in our previous lecture in Law 41.5. Once again, that ball shall not count as a legal delivery in the over and needs to be rebowled. So those three instances are detailed in Law 20. There are more instances which are detailed elsewhere in the law book. The next one is a player returning to the field without permission and coming into contact with the ball while it is in play. The ball shall immediately become dead, but good umpiring practice, because not all players are aware of this law, is for either umpire to call and signal dead ball. 5 penalty runs will be awarded to the batting side. Neither batter shall be out. And there is further punishment, which we learned about in the previous lectures. And this is another example where the ball has been delivered, but shall not count as a legal delivery in the over and needs to be rebowled. The last instance when a delivery is bowled, becomes dead, and does not count as a delivery in the over is when there's an instance of illegal fielding. Ball shall immediately become dead. 5 penalty runs will be awarded to the batting side, and the ball shall not count as a legal delivery in the over and needs to be rebowled. So there are 3 instances in the Law 20 and 2 instances in other laws, Law 24.4 as well as Law 28.2. So you just need to remember for the exam that there are 5 instances, or you could say there are 6 instances if you count 20.4.2.7 twice, because it could either happen in Law 41.4 or Law 41.5, that deliberate distraction. Okay, so what are some of the exam answering tips that you need to know for the 4th or the 6th of January? And Abdullah will, in his 26 questions that we are going to go through, he will cover a lot of this, and you will see these tips coming through in how he answers the revision questions. Write down as much of the law pertaining to the question, then apply the law to the scenario. So the examiner or the marker, and please, we need everyone else to be on silent for the rest of the presentation. Thank you kindly. Write down as much of the law pertaining to the question as you know, and then apply it to the scenario that is being asked. And Abdullah will give examples later. You do not need to memorize the law, but your understanding of the law needs to be correct and spelt out in a manner that the marker will understand. You do not need to write down the law number when you are stating your understanding of a law. What you do need to state is the number of balls remaining in an over if the ball number is mentioned in the question. Similarly, you need to state the number of overs remaining in the day if overs are mentioned in the question. Okay, so a lot of the scenarios in Cricket South Africa's level 3 umpiring exam are based on a 3-day match, and they will tell you that maybe 104 overs need to be bowled in the day. So if there's a dismissal, and there's a change of innings, then you need to subtract a number of overs, and Abdullah will give us examples of that. And then you need to mention how many overs are remaining in the day. So keep in mind that if the question states the number of overs in the scenario, then you need to, at the end of the answer, mention how many overs are remaining in the day's play. For penalty time scenarios, and again, Abdullah will break this down for us into detail, take step-by-step calculations and go event by event in terms of how much penalty time does the fielder owe us at this point in time, how much penalty time does the fielder owe us at that point in time. If there's a dead ball in a scenario, mention whether or not the ball counts as a legal delivery in the over. So I've just given you the 5 examples of when a dead ball will not count as a legal delivery in the over. Obviously, if a ball is not delivered, then it will not count as a legal delivery in the over. I have shown you examples of when a ball is delivered and then becomes dead and still does not count as a legal delivery in the over. So once again, if there is a dead ball in a question, then mention in your answer whether or not that ball counts as a legal delivery in the over or if it needs to be rebowled. If there is running involved in a scenario, you need to mention who will face the next delivery. Is it the original striker who will be on strike again, or is it the original non-striker who will now be on strike for the next delivery? Please, these are extra marks that you can get if you just mention who will face the next delivery. I mentioned this yesterday. To save time, when an offense has been committed and law tells us to inform everybody and report the matter to the governing body of the match, you do not need to write out 2 long paragraphs. You need to simply type in 3 words, inform and report. That will save you time and could score you bonus marks if the marker is looking for marks to help you get over that 80% pass mark. Last exam technique from my side. Leave 2 or 3 lines between questions to add to an answer if you remember extra details later. With the demonstration of the online exam that we showed you yesterday, you would have noticed that you can go back to questions before submitting all of your answers. So because you're not going to be writing as you would do traditionally on a piece of paper, this doesn't quite apply. Just remember, before you submit your answers, you can go back to questions, and also to remind you that you want to go back to a specific question, remember that there is that functionality to mark for review. And once you have gone through all of your questions, you can go to those ones which are marked in yellow, mark for review, and you can complete the answers from what you can remember. So that is it from my side. I will now be handing over to Abdullah, who's going to take us through his revision questions. We want you all to attempt these revision questions with Abdullah, 1 attempter per question, and Abdullah will give us the final answer after that candidate has attempted a question. 26 questions. We would like 26 different people to try and answer the questions. And remember what I said before the lecture started is that if you are able to answer all of these 26 questions on your own, you should be able to pass Cricket South Africa's level 3 exam. So, Abdullah, I'm done for now. I will be facilitating the hands in the meeting room. Over to you to share the questions.
Thank you, Tom. Good day to you and the rest of the attendees. Just give me a second till I get my first question. So we're kicking off with a time question. So in a 3-day match, T is supposed to be from 3 till 20 past 3. Western Province Colts are dismissed at 14:29 after facing 64.5 overs from the allotted 104 overs in the day. So discuss in full for 4 marks, timings, and the overs remaining in the day, and what the laws say, how you need to handle this question. Any hands so far, Tom?
We've got 2 hands up, Abdullah. The first hand up was Zohaib Ali. Zohaib, please unmute your microphone and talk us through the scenario, please.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Good evening to you, sir, both of you.
Mm.
Sir, since the innings has ended 31 minutes before the tea break, there will be, as per the law, it has to be 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes. So in this case, it's ended on 14 hours and 29 minutes. So there will be a change of innings for 10 minutes, and play will start after 10 minutes. And as per the law, 3 overs will be deducted, and it will be 65 plus 3, it will be 68. And from the allotted 104 overs, we will minus the overs, and then the tea will take as per the time at 3 o'clock. After that, there will be no.
105.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry. 104 minus 68. I'll do it for you on my calculator. 36 overs.
Yes, 36 overs. We will minus 68 overs from 104. Sorry, 60. Yeah, 68. 65.
Perfect.
We will round it out. This 64.5 to 65 plus 3 overs for the change of innings, since the innings ended more than 30 minutes from the scheduled interval, sir.
Tom, 4 out of 4 for this question. Who answered the question? Well done.
Zohaib Ali.
Zohaib, you've covered everything. So in these type of questions, to get your full marks, please put down how you get to your answer. So you firstly covered what the law say. With tea being 3 o'clock, it's 31 minutes to go to tea. And because it's 31 minutes, you cannot take an early tea, because the law say if it's 30 minutes or less, now you can take an early tea. So now there will be a change of innings, and that change of innings will be from 14:29 till 14:39. We will take our tea normally, which is at 3 o'clock. And then also in terms of the overs left, 104 we started in the day. 64.5 was bowled, so we'll round up to a round number, which is 65 overs. You will always round up any other time except in the last hour. The last hour handles the rounding up or rounding down differently when you get to, let's say, a fraction of an over left. Any other time, you need to round up. So in this case, it's 65 overs. So the remaining overs are 104 minus the 65 that was bowled, minus the 3 for the change of innings, which give you 36 overs minimum left in the day. So well done, Zoeb. You've covered everything. So please, again, to answer this question, write down everything, what the laws say, your calculations, how you got to your calculations, because this is a 4-mark question. So you need to put on all those questions, and as Zoeb did, he will get, if that was his way of answering this, 4 out of 4.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Welcome.
Thanks, Dula. Just before you go to the next question, you will notice that we are not putting up the answers for all of the questions, simply because the law that is used to answer these questions, you will be using it in your Cricket South Africa Level 3 exam, and we are not allowed to post or display any laws that are going to be used in the exam. So you need to listen carefully, make notes, write as much as you want. You can, obviously, this has been recorded. It's going to be posted on YouTube, so you can listen to it on YouTube. The suspension of our lectures and online exams was one of the reasons was because we were displaying laws in our revision questions that reappeared in the exam. So that is why we are not displaying all our answers. Malati, yes, you have got your hand up. You may ask a question if it's related to this particular question, please.
Yes, Tom. Yes, Abdullah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
loud and clear.
Okay, so my question is, so when we start the change of the innings, don't we have to wait till 3 o'clock? Why are you only waiting for 10 minutes?
So Malati, we get guided by the law when it comes to when we can take an early tea, when we cannot take an early tea.
Correct.
And here the law tell us we can only take early tea if an innings ends 30 minutes or less to tea. So if this innings ended 2:30, we could have taken an early tea from 14:30 till 14:50. But because
no.
it's 31 minutes to tea, we have to take a change of innings. And
Yes,
that
that
change
I
of
understand.
innings,
What I was asking is the change of innings starts immediately, right?
yeah,
So, which is
14:29 till 14:39.
okay, I heard it as 14:39. That was my question. Okay.
Yes.
That is why I asked why only 10 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, change of innings is 10 minutes. So side B will come bat 14:39. First ball needs to be bowled, and they
Correct.
will bat until 3 o'clock when
Yes,
we'll
yes.
take tea.
Okay, that was my question. I heard as 14:39. That was why I was confused. Why are you immediately in 10 minutes you're taking the tea and not playing till 3 o'clock? Okay,
Yeah.
that answers my question. I'm so
No
sorry.
problem.
Thank you.
If there's any questions and if you need clarity, that's why we have this revision questions. We will gladly clear it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Next question. 3-day match, again tea from 3 till 20 past. The side Boland Colts, they declare their innings at 14:49 after facing 68.1 overs of the allotted 104 overs in the day's play. Discuss in full, in terms of timings and overs, the procedure that needs to be followed as per the law for 4 marks.
We've got a hand up, Abdullah. It's Rahul from Canada. Rahul, please unmute your microphone and take us through this scenario.
Good evening, Tom and Abdullah. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
All right. So this is a scenario where tea is scheduled at from 3 o'clock to 3:20, and since the first innings got declared at 2:49, which is less than 30 minutes, so tea will be taken immediately. The tea timings would be from 14:49 until 20 minutes from that. So it would be 49:59, 1309, and since 68 overs has been 68.1 has been bowled, so we round it up to 69, and then we subtract that number from 104 overs in a day's play. And I think the remaining number of overs, which would be 104 minus 69, would be 35 overs,
Correct.
if my math is correct. So I think that would be the number of overs that needs to be bowled after tea. And the 10 minutes innings interval would be incorporated within the tea interval. So to maximize play as much as possible, we would play 36 or 35 overs.
Rahul, well done. You gave a full answer. Firstly, you've covered what the law say. Because the innings ended less than 30 minutes or less to the tea interval, we will take an early tea from 14:49 till 15:09. You also then mentioned we will incorporate the tea in the change of innings interval into the tea interval. You can also just put down that we will not deduct any overs because we've incorporated the change of innings into the tea. Just write it down.
Yeah.
In your answer, and then overs remaining in the day. So it's 104 minus 69. We round it up to 68.1 to 69, and we are left with 35 minimum in the day. Well done.
Okay. Thank you.
Next question. 3-day match. Lunch is from 12:10 till 12:50. At 12:09, the batting side loses their 9th wicket. For 2 marks, explain what happens next.
Nobody likes the easy questions, Abdullah. Oh, here we go. Amar, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, guys. So here the lunch is scheduled at 12:10, but the calls lost their 9th wicket. Had it been any other wicket down, we'll take the lunch immediately. But since it's the 9th wicket, we give extra 30 minutes of play to continue. So, the game will continue on till 12:39. And, if there is still the 9 wickets down, we'll take lunch at 12:39 p.m. Noon. Yeah.
Are you sure we play until 12:39, Amar?
12:39 or, like the innings close?
We add 30 minutes to when? To what time?
To 12:09. Sorry, 12:10. Sorry. So 12:30.
There you go.
12:30, yes.
Yeah, well done, Amar. You've covered what the laws say. Because they're 9 down, we cannot take lunchtime. We need to play a max of 30 minutes to see if the fielding side can take the 10th wicket. So we can play up until max time of 12:40. So if the fielding side takes the wicket before then, we'll then take lunch. If they can't take the 10th wicket by 12:40, we will then take lunch at 12:40. Well done. Next question. And you can see, if you look at this question, it is a mouthful. So what you need to do with these questions, you can read it the first time, but then after reading it the first time, break it up into smaller pieces. Also try to visualize what they're asking you. That will also help you answering the question. So looking at it, break it up into smaller pieces, and then if you can visualize it, then write down what action you will take by writing the appropriate law. And again, another clue, you can see they're giving you, they tell you it's a T20 match. They're telling you how much runs to win. So you need to also look, do they mention anything about how much balls here? So if they do mention balls, you need to in your answer say how many balls left. If they do mention runs, you need to also in your answer put how many runs to win. Do we have any hands, Tom?
Abir from Dallas, our number one. He's got his hand up.
Yes, one of
Abir,
my favorite places in the world, Dallas in Texas. Hello,
please
Abir.
unmute your microphone. The floor is yours,
Yeah,
Abir.
hi Tom, hi Abdullah. We'll miss you. So eagerly waiting when you come back.
We hope to come back. We'll come back anytime, Abir. You do have our numbers. We'll come back anytime.
Sure. So if you read the question and you see that it is at the last over of a T20 match when the batting side needs 17 runs to win, with number four and was on strike with the number 10 batter. And if we look into this scenario, it is presumed that now the number four batter hits a run, and like he committed a deliberate short run, right? He did not cover his ground so that he can make good. He returned back to this crease and retain the strike. That was his intention, and not get out. In this situation, it is a deliberate short run. And if there is a deliberate short run, we will disallow all the runs he has scored. So if there is, but he has scored 2 runs here and 1 run is short, so we'll deduct all the 2 runs. We'll disallow all the 2 runs. Return. So luckily, the number four batter returns to his original end, because that's the law that says we'll return all the batters to their original end. We will signal no and white ball if it is applicable in this situation. Hoping it is the striker has hit the ball, so it is a no ball. So if it's a no ball, we'll signal a no ball. About 5 penalty runs to the fielding side. So now they will be chasing 22 runs instead of 17, because will already disallow the runs they have scored. And at the end of the match, we'll inform and report to this incident to the governing committee.
Well done, Abir. You've covered all aspects. You've covered firstly what the law say. You've identified that this is a scenario of deliberate short run by the batter. You looked at the scenario. You can seize the last over. It's a number 10 batter with the number 4. The number 4 batter wanted to get back on strike. So you've identified, and then you've also wrote down the actions that the umpires need to take. So also in your answer, you do not have to quote the law verbatim. All that the person that's marking your paper wants to see is, do you understand the law, and do you know what action steps to take? You don't have to quote the law verbatim. You can write it in your own words, which is what Abir did. Disallowed the runs, return the not out batter to the original ends. He mentioned about if there was a no ball or a wide. Mentioned the 5 penalty runs to the fielding side. He mentioned the runs now needed to win. He covered needs to inform everyone and report this. There's an additional step that you could have added: award any other 5 penalty runs except if the ball did the helmet that was placed behind the keeper. So yes, Abir, 5 out of 5 for you for answering this question. Again, you read the question. It is long. Break it up into smaller pieces. Look at what they're asking you, and then apply the law in answering your question. So this we start with question number 5 first, and then we'll go to 6. So just ignore the video. Just look at 5 for now. So striker hits the ball to mid wicket and attempts a run. Read it, break it up, try to visualize what they're asking you, try to see where the batters are, where they are at the instant of the throw. It helps you if you can visualize this and in answering the question. So for question 5, Tom, do we have any hands?
No hands yet, Abdullah. Maybe just read through the entire question and then I'm sure hands will pop up.
Okay, again, I'm going to read through the question. Close your eyes, try to visualize. So striker hits the ball to mid-wicket and starts to run. At the instant of the fielder's throw for a run out at the bowler's end, the batters are level. So visualize batters level, i.e. they have not crossed. The ball misses the stumps and goes over the deep, over the boundary at deep extra cover as the batters turn for their third run. Discuss and explain what happens next for 3 marks.
Amar has got his hand up again. Nobody else has their hand up, so we will let Amar give this one an attempt. Amar, please unmute your microphone. Floor is yours.
Sure. Thanks, guys. So here the striker hits to the mid wickets, and they basically they go for the batters are level. So as in they run two runs, and they turn for the third run, which they have not crossed.
Amar,
Yeah.
let me just correct you there. The throw comes in from the mid-wicket fielder during the first run, and they are level they are level for the first run.
First run, okay. So basically they did not cross the first run. So basically they attempt the first run, so it goes to the like there is a overthrow and goes to deep extra cover. At that point they turn for it and goes over the boundary. So basically there is a misfield at deep extra cover. So so at the point, what we need to look at is the point of at the point of throw they were attempting the first run. So we get the 4 for the overthrows and 1 run as they started the run when the throw happened. So basically it's 5 runs scored here, and the non-striker batter will be the one on strike.
Are you sure that we award a run for that first run, Amar?
Yes, yeah, because it is the overthrow. It's at the point of taking the run, right? So the crossing shouldn't matter, because it's the attempt of the first run where the overthrow happened.
So Abdullah will correct you. There's a big clue there. They have not crossed. That is your big clue.
Yes, that is the big clue, because the law tells us when it comes to overthrow, and when a boundary results from an overthrow, the run in progress will only count if the 2 batters crossed at the instant of the throw. So you need to visualize at the instant of the throw, when the fielder threw or released the ball, did the batters cross or not? In the question, they do tell you that they were level, and level means they did not cross. So because they did not cross, that's why the run that they're busy with will not count. If they did cross at the instant of the throw, when the fielder released the ball, then the run would have counted. But because they did not cross, that first run that they were busy with will not count. So only the boundary 4 to count, which you will signal to the scorers. So that's the first point that you'll get. Then you need to also, because they didn't cross, you need to tell in your put in your answer who faces the next delivery. And because they didn't cross, the striker will face the next delivery. Do you understand? Do I need to explain again about why the run did not count? Why this is only a boundary 4 and not 5? Because of the batters not crossing at the instant of the throw?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Tom, question 6. There's a video. So we're going to quickly look at the video. And you can see the ball was bowled from behind the umpire. Now the question is, what actions will you as the bowlers in umpire take after seeing this delivery? I'll play it for you.
He has bowled that from so far behind the umpire. That is the furthest I've ever seen a delivery served up from.
Thanks, Tula. We do have a old hand up. Rahul has got his hand up. No other hands are up. The other hand up is Abir. So we will give Rahul the opportunity. Your microphone is unmuted. Go ahead, Rahul.
So Tom, in this scenario, the bowler Tino Best has bowled the delivery from behind the standing umpire at the non-striker end. So neither the bowlers and umpire nor the striker and umpire can be sure whether the bowler's back foot has landed, because our return creases are imaginary and they can extend up unlimited in length. So therefore, they cannot be sure whether they cannot call and signal a no ball or not, or they cannot even confirm whether it was a fair delivery or not. So in this instance, the umpires should call and signal a dead ball. The delivery should not be counted and has to be re-bowled. And just to add as a good umpiring practice, I would also inform the bowler to basically warn them for time wasting in this scenario.
Textbook answer, 4 out of 4 marks. Well done.
Abdullah, if I can just come in there. This is another instance where the ball is delivered and it becomes a dead ball and we need to re-bowl it. So the reason it wasn't listed on the slides that I presented is that it's not actually in law. Remember that the decision was made by ICC umpires at a World Cup after this match, before the World Cup. This is how they decided that they were going to implement if a bowler bowls from behind the bowler's end umpire. So it is not in law, and it is the only question in the level 3 exam that is not in law, but that is why we have covered it in our slides and also in our revision lecture. Over, Tula.
Thanks, Tom.
Tom, I actually have a follow-up question on that one. Can I ask that?
Yes, go ahead, Rahul.
So in this case, I think it's like a televised game. Are the umpires on field can they take help from the TV umpire and see like the legality of the delivery or not? The umpires on field have to make that decision.
Abdullah, it depends on the playing conditions for that particular tournament, isn't it? Please talk us through that.
Yes, if there are DRS and auto no ball available, the part of the auto no ball process is the TV umpire looks at the back foot as well. So yeah, TV umpire will definitely assist in terms of back foot no ball. But what was the question, Tom?
Can the TV umpire actually assist to clear this as a legal delivery?
So now the guidance that we received from from the cricket committee was, if the ball gets bowled from behind the umpire, you need to call and signal dead ball. That ball needs to be rebowled. Yes, I know if there is auto noble in place, the TV umpire can look at it, but just in terms of consistency, so whether it's a DRS game, whether it's a provincial or normal club game, if bowler bowls from behind the umpire, even if you do have technology available, in to apply, the regulation consistently, umpire needs to call and signal dead ball. Over.
All right.
Thanks for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you, Tom and Abdullah.
Sure. Rahul, just to add to that, the auto no ball cameras only show about 2.5 meters worth of footage. And Tino Best would have been out of that 2.5 meter worth of footage. And to be able to confirm if he's inside an imaginary return crease, I think it's just too much trouble and adding extra protocols that don't exist to the playing conditions. So stick to the regulation that has been put in place by the International Cricket Council of calling and signaling dead ball if a bowler bowls from behind the bowler's end umpire. If in the US or in Canada or anywhere else there's a playing conditions that says you call and signal no ball, if the bowler bowls from behind the bowler's end umpire, then you go with that playing condition. Please always follow your playing conditions locally. Thank you. Over.
All right. Thank you, Tom, for the
Hey,
clarification.
hey, Tom, I have a question on this one. Follow up. At what point in time is the captain of the fielding side informed, or should he be informed at all on this violation? And second, the same thing with the scorer because the ball is not going to count as one for the over. Thanks.
So because you're going to warn the bowler for time wasting, or at least you're going to tell them that if they do it again, then you're going to officially warn them for time wasting. When you speak to the bowler, it's a good idea to call the captain over as well and mention that to the fielding captain. And in terms of the scorers, if you don't have a radio to speak to the scorers, then you need to shout or get some signal over to them that the runs or nothing counts in that particular delivery and it needs to be rebowled. It's not an easy message to get across, but if you do have an interval soon after that, then you just need to confirm that they got the message from you.
Yeah. Also, Tom, the signal of dead ball should the scorers, when they see it, they should know that while you're signaling dead ball, it means that ball not to count. But yes, good idea to make a note and confirm at on the radio or at the next interval. But I say if they see that dead ball signal, they should know that the ball shouldn't count as one for the over. Over.
Perfect. Thanks, Tula.
Next question. Again, break it up into smaller pieces and try to understand what they are asking you. So the first clue they give us is it's day 1 of a 5-day test match. And the bowler's end umpire calls play. As Kagiso Rabada runs in to bowl the first ball of the match, he takes a few steps. It starts bucketing down. He stops, does not bowl the first ball, covers gets brought on. No further play on day 1. play then starts on time on day 2. West Indies are dismissed for 367. The question is, what would the West Indies need to restrict South Africa in order to enforce the follow-on, and give a reason for your answer?
Quite a few hands up, Dula. The only new hand is Deepak Kata. Deepak, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Sure. Thanks, Tom. So since this is a 5-day match, and since play has been called, and since Kangiso Rabada has started his run-up for the first ball of the match, and there is shower now, and the play doesn't happen, it is still counted as the play happening on that game. So which means the follow-on remains for 200 runs, 200 plus 1 run extra. So in this case, if the play starts on day 2, it is still counted as a 5-day game, and the follow-on score would be 168. A minimum lead of 200 runs, which means they have to score at least 168 to avoid the follow-on.
Yeah, perfect answer. 2 out of 2. Firstly, mentioning that because the first ball, yes, the first ball was not bowled, but the law tells us as soon as play is called and at first steps gets taken, play has technically started. So we had play on day 1, so the follow-on lead will stay 200, and with West Indies scoring 367. If South Africa scores 368, they avoid the follow-on. 168, they avoid the follow-on.
Hey,
Thanks,
Abdullah, I have a
Abdullah.
question.
Yeah.
So your question says, what would West Indies need to restrict South Africa in order to enforce the follow-on, which is 167?
167, correct.
Right?
If you want to be technical, that's correct. 167, that is the correct answer.
Okay.
167, correct. Next question. Let's have a look at the video. It is Deputy Sama running out the non-striker. Firstly, answer the appeal, and then by answering your appeal with reference to the relevant law, using the law to answer your why you've given the striker, non-striker not out or out. Let's look at the video.
No. I'm not so sure. I know it's in the laws of the game. I'm ready with my decision for the big screen.
So any hands, Tom? They need to first answer the appeal and then give reasons by using the law why they're saying out or not out.
Yes, Dula, we've got 3 hands, now 4 hands. They are all hands that have answered questions before. I'm just going to give it a few more seconds for any new hands to answer the new appeal. And just a heads up, the mark allocation for this question is 6 marks. So you cannot just say out or not out. You would get 1 mark if you give the correct decision. You still need to expand on your decision by referring to the relevant law. So Abdullah, no more new hands. I'm going to go with Zohaib Ali, who hasn't spoken as recently as the other 3 hands. Zohaib, please unmute your microphone and the floor is yours.
Yes, good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, go ahead.
Yeah, the decision would be out, sir. And the reason for that is the batter can be given out at the point bowler is expected to release the delivery. Here in this video, as we can see that as we see the vertically, the bowler is not gone past to the point where the ball as can be considered as the release point. So in this case, the batter is out. That's to say, in this case, if the bowler's arm has gone out to the point where the normal release point has crossed, then the batter would be given not out.
Good, Zohaib. I think you've probably got about 4 out of 6 there. Abdullah, can you give us the full answer with reference to the law, please?
Yes, Tom. So firstly, you need to cover with regards to the bowler and when the bowler is allowed to run out the non-striker and when they're not. So the bowler is allowed to run out the non-striker from the moment the ball comes into play, i.e. the moment the bowler takes his or her first step, and that window period closes the moment the bowler passes his or her release point. Again, you don't have to quote the law verbatim. You can just give your understanding of how the law works, and you can say the moment the ball comes into play, uh, and it ends when the bowler passes his or her release point. That is when the bowler can run out the non-striker. So you've covered that. Then the next point that you need to cover about the non-striker. When will the non-striker be run out? So you can say the non-strikers be run out the moment the ball comes into play and the non-striker is out of his or her ground, and the wicket is then fairly put down by the bowler. And you can also mention this ball not to count as one for the over. And then your decision that you gave is based on the law that you've just covered. So Deepti Sharma fairly put down the wicket with a non-striker short of ground, and then your decision is out. Over.
Thanks, Dula. Very thorough answer. And there is the perfect way of answering these questions where the law is unpacked as much as you can remember and as much detail as you can supply, and then you apply it to the scenario to give your decision. That's how you will get 6 marks for such a question in the Cricket South Africa Level 3 exam. Thanks, Dula.
Next
Tom,
question.
can I ask one question for the previous slide?
Yes, Pradip, go ahead.
In the previous example, if Dipti Sharma would have overstep, and of course the same scenario, what would be the decision? The ball is not called no ball unless it is delivered, because bowler, as soon as they overstep and they don't deliver, it is not no ball. So what will be the decision in this scenario to make a run out?
So Abdullah, if Dipti Sharma's front foot landed over the popping crease with no part of it grounded or raised behind the back edge of the popping crease, would she still be able to run out the non-striker?
Yes, one of the methods to run out any batter is you can be run out of a no ball. But in this case, the ball was not delivered. So that's why no ball will not be applicable for this particular delivery. Ball was not delivered.
Yes, thanks. And immediately umpire will call the dead ball, right? In this scenario first.
Yeah, so with the run out of the non-striker, the ball then immediately becomes dead. Anything that happens after that is irrelevant.
Hey,
If
Tom,
they're trying, sorry, like if they're
Sorry, go
trying to throw rather than just touching the ball, like if the ball slip from their hand and goes beyond the umpire, and if the batsman try to run, in that scenario, what happens? Means ball did not hit the stump in that attempt. They were just trying to hit the ball slip from her hand. I know there is only first attempt they have to make a run out, but ball pass like some distance and batsman's run. So what is going to happen in this scenario?
Pradyat, when the ball slips out of the bowler's hand, it's immediately called and signaled dead ball. If
Okay.
I can ask if we stick to the scenarios presented, because we're only 9 questions out of 26, and we're already an hour and 20 minutes into the lecture. Thanks, Pradyat. Next question, please, Dula.
Yeah, let's have a look at the video. There is a huge appeal. You need to answer the appeal by using the relevant laws. So let's look at the video. So you saw the ball go into the keeper's hands. Keeper threw the ball to second slip through, then the ball onto the stumps. There was an appeal. So you need to answer the appeal and using the law, back up why you're saying out or not out.
We've got 2 hands up, Abdullah. Usual suspects, Rahul and Abir. I'm going to give a few more seconds for any new hands to come up. Amar has also raised his hand. He's also answered a couple, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just waiting to see. Rian Fenta, his hand has just come up. Please unmute your microphone, Rian. The floor is yours.
Hi, guys. So obviously, the law says that once the ball's gone into the keeper's hand and he's passed it on, the ball is dead. So that's going to be my call. It's dead ball. The person will not be run out. And we play on.
Okay, Rian, this question is for 4 marks. I think you would have scored 2 marks for what you have told us. Anything else you can add? Because there's 2 parts of the dead ball law that are relevant to this particular scenario, and I think you've only mentioned one of them.
It's a bit late in the evening.
No problem. We can get Abdullah to give us the memorandum answer.
Yeah, so let's start with the law first. The ball becomes dead when it's finally settled in the hands of the wicketkeeper or of the bowler. And it's for the umpire alone to decide whether when the ball is finally settled or not. So that's the first part of the law. The second part is the ball to be considered dead when it's clear to the bowlers in umpire that the fielders and the batters at the wicket cease to regard the ball as still in play. So now to answer this scenario using the law, by passing the ball to the second slip fielder, the keeper considered the ball to be dead. So at that point, both batters and the fielding side considered the ball to be dead. So therefore, on this appeal, you need to go not out.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Abdullah.
Oh, you're welcome. Again, one of those long questions. Read them, break it up into smaller pieces, visualize, try to see what they, if you can visualize what they're asking, so much easier then to answer the question.
You want to read it for us, please, Dula? And then I'm sure we'll get some hands.
Okay. So visualize left arm spinner bowling, a full length delivery, let's say half volley to the striker. Striker hits the ball in the air and the ball then goes against the helmet of the silly point fielder. After hitting the helmet, the ball goes up into the air and the cover fielder catches the ball. The cover fielder then sees that the informed batter who's standing at the non-striker's end is 2 meters outside his or her ground, and then throws the ball at the non-striker's end with the the informed batter a meter short. There's an appeal. How are you going to answer this appeal? And back your answer up by the relevant law.
We've got a new hand. Ahmed Mohammed, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours. Ahmed, I can see you've unmuted your microphone. Please go ahead. Ahmed seems to be having microphone issues. So the hand that is remaining, Abir from Dallas, please unmute your microphone and take us through the scenario.
So in this scenario, the striker hits the ball. We don't. Nothing is mentioned about whether it's on a bounce or not. So it's assumed, since it's a full length delivery, it would hit the silly point on the full, and it ricochets off his helmet, goes to the cover, and the catch is fairly taken. So as per the law, if the ball is struck by the batsman and is caught, even if it's coming off from any fielder or umpire, so it would be treated as caught. So it's a fair catch, and the batsman should be out caught. On the other side, there is a non-striker who is out of the ground and the fielder throws and breaks the wicket. So, as per the law, if there is any dismissal other than bowled, the dismissal out catch takes the precedence. So, in this way, the striker would be out caught, and as the ball automatically becomes dead after the first the dismissal has been given. So no further action, so nothing. We should not consider the run out. So the decision is the striker is out caught. That's my submission.
Yeah, well done, Abir. You've covered all aspects. You've covered the law. You could maybe have added that yes, the ball hit the helmet. You'll find lots of players even today thinking the ball hits the helmet, the ball is dead. No, it's not. Ball is still alive, and catch can be taken if the ball ricochets off the helmet. But yeah, well done.
Yeah, the helmet has not been discarded by the fielding side. It's been worn, so it is part of the equipment of the fielding. So I think the fielder can the only external equipment the fielder can wear is the helmet.
Next question. Let's look at the video. So what will be your call or calls, and what signals should the bowlers in umpire make, if any? Let's look at the video. I know it happened quickly. Let's look at it again. Any hands, Tom?
Yes, we do have hands, Abdullah. No new hands yet. Yes, new hand has just come up. Mohammed Patel, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Hello, good day, everyone. Tom and Abdullah. And in this scenario, the law says if the ball is bounced twice, the ball called the no ball. In this scenario, ball bounced twice and is go out of the pitch. So ball call first of us we call dead balls and call immediately the no. First call the no ball, then immediately the no balls. Batsman reach to the dead, so there is no any further action, no runs allowed or anything.
Sorry, Mohammed, did you mention why you're calling dead ball?
The ball is bounced twice. There is no ball. After the ball is go to the out of the pitch, and his batsman to reach is he have to leave the pitch to play the balls. That's why it's called a dead ball.
Correct, Mohammed. Well done.
Yeah, well done, Mohammed.
Thank you.
Next question. Fast bowler delivers slower ball bouncer. Striker moves deep into the crease to play the cut shot. As the striker attempts to hit the ball, the striker's bat clips the off bail and dislodges it. As the fielding side appeals, the striker's end umpire calls and signal no ball for more than 2 fielders behind square on the leg side. Answer the appeal with reference to the relevant laws.
We have our usual suspects with their hands up, Abdullah, Rahul and Ahmad Muhammad. I'm just going to wait for a new hand. Rian's hand is also up. He has also answered a question up to now. At some point, I'm going to pick on some candidates who have been quietly listening and furiously taking notes, but not contributing to the answers. But I won't do that yet. So, Abdullah, let's take the first old hand that was up. Rahul from Canada, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Tom. So in this scenario, the fast bowler delivers a slower ball bouncer to the striker. The striker moves deep into the crease to play a shot. So, and in the process, his bat clips the off bail. So he's still within the window of being out hit wicket. But since the striker and the umpire has called and signaled a no ball for a fielding violation with 2 fielders behind the square on the leg side, the no ball should be the first call for the umpire. And then, as we all know, that batter cannot be out hit wicket on a no ball. So I think a no ball call would stand, and the batsman would be not out. Um, in case of not a no ball, the batter would be out because in the process of playing his shot, he hasn't completed his movement, and it's within the window period, so he would be out. But since it's a no ball here, he cannot be out stumped.
Yes, Rahul, you've covered everything. You first covered how the striker can be out wicket, and the striker meets all the criteria. But because of the no ball call, striker cannot be out hit wicket. There's only 3 ways to be dismissed of a no ball, and hit wicket is not one of them. Just for bonus points, you can add to your answer ball. Because it's a no ball, ball not to count as 1 for the over and needs to be rebuilt.
And Abdullah, do I also, in case in this question, do I also need to mention the mode of dismissals that are allowed on a no ball, like hit wicket, obstruction?
You can if you want to. No need to. You can say because of the no ball appeal, there's only 3 ways to be dismissed of the no ball, and those 3 ways are, run out, hit the ball twice, obstructing the field. So hit wicket is not one of them. So that's why the striker to be not given out hit wicket, ball not to count as 1 for the over needs to be rebuilt.
All right, just to be thorough. Thank you.
Yeah, you can if you want to. Again, visualize. If you can visualize the scenario, it can help you answer the question. So visualize the hand towel tucked at the back of the bowler's pants. And as the bowler is getting into the delivery stride, the towel pops out and dislodges the bails at the non-striker's wicket. The striker gets a faint edge on delivery, which is caught by the keeper. There's a huge appeal. Please answer the appeal with reference to the relevant laws.
We have a couple of hands up, Abdullah, including a new one. Malati, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Hi, Tom and Abdullah. I was refraining from answering because I am still in jet lag, but but it's okay. So yeah, in this case, the towel of the bowler falls on the bails. So first of all, that is no ball as per law. So sorry, somebody said something. Okay. So that okay. And so that comes first, and of course the striker hits the ball and is caught by the keeper. Although caught takes precedence over uh, over any other bowl or anything, but in this case, because the no ball happens first, the the bowler's end umpire calls a no ball, and the striker will not be out because of, as before, the no ball. If it's a no ball, it can only be the three outs which already Abdullah specified, which is not caught. And so the appeal will be that the striker is not out and the ball will not count for the over, and the bowler has to re-bowl the ball.
Well done, Malati. Textbook answer, full marks. You first covered the law, which states either umpire to call in signal no ball if the wicket gets broken by the bowler. And this includes any part of the person or body and also clothing. And then you mentioned striker will be not out because you cannot be dismissed court of a no ball, and ball not to count as one for the over and needs to be rebuilt. Well done. Again, break it up into smaller pieces, read it, try to visualize. And by visualizing, it will definitely help you answering the question. So, striker, shouldering arms to a delivery. So now you need to visualize striker, put his pad out, shouldering arms. The ball then hits the front pad. It then goes through the keeper's leg. So visualize shouldering arms, hit the pad, goes through the keeper's legs. Batters then set off for a single. Gully fielder picks up the ball on the edge of the 30-yard circle at the backstop position. Seeing the batter still running to make good the ground, the gully fielder throws the ball in the direction of the stumps. The throw hits the helmet placed on the ground behind the wicket keeper before going on to hit the stumps at the striker's end with the batter short of his ground. There's a huge appeal. Answer the appeal with reference to all the relevant laws and discuss the procedure to follow for 6 marks.
Before somebody answers this question, Abdullah and Tom, I have a question regarding the exam process for this kind of questions. Is it okay to ask now?
Go for it.
So when this kind of like long questions, especially with multiple scenarios are there, I tend to kind of write it down or like kind of, split the points in writing rather than putting it in my head. So is that allowed during the exam? Like, can I use a scratch paper or something which I can write it down on?
Malati, Atik from Namibia did ask me such a question yesterday. He actually posted it in the chat, but I didn't get to answer it. My apologies to Atik for that. Unfortunately, because we cannot see what is on your piece of paper, it could be material that can help you that you've printed from a lecture or from the law book. So unfortunately, we are not allowing pens and papers in the exam book, in the exam room. What you can do, as mentioned, is the text box in each question. You can type, edit, delete, move. You can't cut and paste, but you can manually edit anything and everything that you type into the text box. So yes, it is a little bit different and more difficult because you can't copy and paste, but unfortunately, those are the strict rules that we need to adhere by. As mentioned, we've gone to this new system because of the troubles we had in our old system. You wrote level 2 with us when we were still on Microsoft Teams, and I'm sure you'll agree there was no security, no integrity in those exams. Cricket South Africa has given us this new opportunity to have a proctored, strictly enforced rules exam online, and we don't want any issues. We don't want anybody coming back to us and saying there was a irregularity. So let's be safe rather than sorry. Let's be as strict as possible, and that's why we've given you 3 hours and 45 minutes to complete the exam instead of the 3 hours that the level 3 exam should be given. I hope you understand.
Okay, yeah. I understand, but I know it's going to be tricky and difficult because for traditional person like me who uses paper and pen most of the time.
Sure. Good luck, Malati. It's the first time we are doing it, so
I know, I understand.
we might adjust it going forward, but for a first attempt, we need to be as strict as possible.
No worries. Thank you. No worries. Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you for
Tom.
understanding.
Sorry, Tom. So I was just going to ask, are we going to be like the guinea pigs for this one?
Pretty much, Rian. We've tested the system ourselves thoroughly, but there's nothing like a real live scenario to figure out if things work properly, and also what are some of the teething problems that we might come across. We learn as we go.
Thanks. That's awesome.
Cool. So for this scenario, we've got 3 hands up and a new one in Suraj. Suraj, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours for 6 marks.
Hi, Tom and Abdullah. Hope I'm audible to everyone.
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm as per my visualization of the scenario, the striker did not attempt to play at the ball, so it has brushed the pad and gone to a fielder at the gully position, and batsman attempt run here. Uh, so, according to scenario, before the first run is completed by both the batters, the throw comes in from the fielder and hits the helmet that is kept on the ground. So the ball would automatically become dead at that instance, and because fielders will still have the opportunity to run out the batters until the completion of first run or the ball goes for boundary, the umpires will delay the call of dead ball. And once the ball hits the helmet, we can call and signal dead ball, and the wicket cannot be affected from that point onwards. So the answer for the appeal will be not out by the bowlers and umpire, or whichever end the run out is affected. Yeah, that's it, Tom and Abdullah from me.
Tom, who answered the question? What was his name?
Suraj.
Suraj, Yeah, you've covered lots of points. There are 1 or 2 points to get full 6 marks that you need to add in your answer. So so when answering these questions and they ask you um, uh, in answering, please reference to the relevant laws. So you need to write down in terms of, with the batter soldering arms, what the laws say, when runs are allowed and when runs are not allowed. So you can mention as the law say.
I just realized as soon as you started. Can I add the points if you can allow me to
Yeah,
add?
you can. Yeah, I'll allow you to add.
Yeah, all the answers will, all the runs will be disallowed. So
Yeah.
the batters will be sent back to their original ends as the previous ball, and the ball shall not count as ball will count as one of the over anyway. Yeah, I think that point which I missed from the law, maybe hope I covered. If not, you can add.
Yeah, there's two things that you just need to cover in full about the soldering arms and when runs are allowed and when runs are not allowed. So in this case, because of the soldering arms of the batter that hits the pad, and the batter didn't attempt to play at the ball nor try to take evasive action, runs in this instance should not be allowed. So that you just need to put as part of your answer. And then the other important thing that needs to be added here is that the ball, it hit the helmet. Yes, the ball became dead when the ball hits the helmet, and anything that happens after that is irrelevant. So that's why the run out will not count, and the answer to the appeal will be not out. But you also need to add is, because in this case, when it comes to uh, um, um, batter soldering arms and leg bias to not be awarded. The 5 penalty runs for the ball hitting the helmet that was placed behind the keeper to not be awarded to the batting side.
Yes.
And that needs to be added, and that is with your point and these two additional ones that I've given, that is 6 out of 6. You'll get 6 out of 6.
Okay. Thanks, Abdullah.
Next question. 2 balls to be bowled in the final over. Again, when they say break it up into smaller pieces, try to visualize. And when they do give you 2 balls left, you need to know when they speak about runs in your answer, you need to say how many balls left, how many runs needed to win. So 2 balls left, final over of the game. Batting side needs 3 to win. Striker Sloxy sweeps. Gets a top edge, goes high into the air. Batters set off for a run. They've completed the first run. The batters have not crossed for the second run when the non-striker deliberately makes bodily contact with the bowler ready to catch the ball. The bowler then drops the ball as the batters complete their second run. There's a huge appeal. Answer please explain, the procedure to follow next.
Abdullah, before we take the hands in the meeting room, there isn't a mark allocation for this question. I would think it's about 8 marks for this question. There's a lot happening here. And so anybody who is going to answer needs to be very detailed in their answer.
Yeah, no, Tom, there's about a 3 mark allocation for this one.
Only 3 marks?
3 or 4 marks for this one, yeah. You'll see when we get to the answer.
Oh, right. Sorry, it's the batter making delivered contact with the
yes.
I thought it was the fielder making contact.
No. Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
Great. Okay. For 3 marks, SM, please unmute your microphone and take us through this scenario.
Good evening, gentlemen. Can you hear me, please?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
So Tom, since in this case, since the batters have already completed the first run and the non-striker deliberately makes a bodily contact, which I mean restricts the fielder for taking the catch. So in that case, particularly the obstruction of field comes into play. No runs would be awarded to the batting side because the striker is considered out, obstructing the field. And the next batter comes onto the wicket will face the next ball. And with now one ball remaining, they will need 3 runs to win the game. And yeah, that's it.
Yes, you've covered most of the things. How many balls left in the over?
1 ball left and 3 runs required now.
Yeah, 1 ball left, 3 runs. So yeah, you just need to just clarify that because there was an obstruction by the non-striker, you just need to write down. Yes, even though the non-striker did the obstruction, it's the striker to be given out obstructing the field. And yeah, that's 3 marks for this question.
Well done, SM.
Again, a mouthful of a question. Break it up into smaller pieces and try to visualize. So batter plays the ball into to deep backward square leg. Square leg fielder runs to retrieve the ball. While running, the fielder's hat accidentally falls off. Fielder then picks up the ball well within the boundary and throws it to the keeper. The ball then hits the fielder's cap that fell accidentally off the head. The keeper collects the ball and whips off the bail with the striker sort of the popping crease, attempting to complete the second run. There's a huge appeal. Answer your appeal with the relevant laws.
We've got 2 hands up at the moment, Abdullah. Both of them have previously answered questions. Third one has just come up, also a regular. I am waiting for new hands. I've even WhatsApped 1 or 2 people who are in the meeting room that have not answered questions. So I am. I don't want to call out. I don't want to call out any names. But the closer we get to the new year, the more I might actually call out new names. But let's go for the hands up in the meeting room, even though they are old hands. Ahmad Mohammed, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Good evening, gents. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry about earlier. I think my mic wasn't working. To answer the appeal, the batsman will be run out, because the fielder's hat accidentally fell off his head. There was no deliberate action by the fielder to remove his hat. So it will be run out. The ball will count as 1 for the over, and so there will be 1 run that is scored because they tried to attempt to complete the second run. So 1 run will be scored, batsman run out, and it's not a dead ball and counts as 1 for the over.
And who is facing the next delivery, Ahmed?
The new batsman will face the next delivery as it was at the keeper's end. So it will be at the striker's end, which means the new batsman will be facing the next delivery.
100%. Remember, if there is running involved in the scenario and there is a wicket that falls, in fact, even if there isn't a wicket that falls, please mention who is facing the next delivery.
Okay, thank you for that tip.
So Tom, for 5 marks, describe the procedure to follow when a player returns to the field without either of the umpire's permission, and then this fielder comes into contact with the ball. For 5 marks.
That's a nice, thorough law question, and we have got our law gurus right up front with their hands up, Abdullah. Five of them already. I think even before you had finished reading the question, five hands were up. I'm just gonna wait for any new hands to come up. If not, then I will go to the hand top of the list. Rian Venter from Uitenhage in Eastern Cape, South Africa. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Okay, so first of all, the ball will be called dead. 5 penalty runs will be awarded. There will be a what was the word? The two words. Report. Informed and report. There we go. And yeah, that's it for 5 marks.
Any runs scored?
Oh yes, they won't count.
Are you sure?
Oh, sorry. All runs completed will count.
And
if I'm on the spot now.
A run in progress.
Runs in progress.
Oh yes, that will also count.
If
completed, if not completed.
They have crossed.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Rian, did you mention if the ball counts as one in the over or not?
No, I did not mention that, but it will count as one of the over.
Okay, remember I went through the 5 instances where the ball is delivered and becomes dead, but the ball does not count as a legal delivery in the over. This is one of those incidents. Okay, so we need to study those 5 instances. There's a 6th one, which is when the bowler bowls from behind the bowler's end umpire. But that is not in law. One of the 5 that are in law is this particular scenario. So you need to mention that the ball does not count as a legal delivery in the over and needs to be rebowled. Okay. When there's 5 marks that need to be scored, we need to give as much detail as possible. Don't rush through the answer. And 3 hours and 45 minutes is more than enough time to write down as much of every law that is applicable to every scenario for each question. Okay.
Tom, I have a question on the same. Question 17. May I ask?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this question also asks whether a player returns and also laws wording are like it is player. But when we check the appendices, it refers to as fielders or member of the fielding side. This might again be pertinent to some of the playing conditions, but I wish to understand whether this is same procedure is applicable when this is done by one of the substitutes.
So one of the substitute comes onto the field for the first time, replacing a nominated player. Is that what you're asking, Suraj?
Yes, maybe first time, or he briefly goes back and tries to come back in without permission, like either case.
Abdullah, you want to take that one?
Yes, Tom. So this law specifically speaks about the injured player returning to the field without permission. So if a player went off, came to you, I'm injured, I need to have my hamstring looked at, then the player goes off to get treatment, and then the player comes back without your permission. So this law refers to that particular player. But The cricketing committee, because this question came up in the cricketing committee, what about if a substitute or other player comes on without your permission and you don't know and touch the ball? So we were guided by the International Cricket Council via the MCC cricket committee, and they said to us, we will apply the same principle to any substitute coming on the field that enter the field without your permission. You'll apply exactly the same, i.e. ball to be dead, ball not to count, 5 penalty runs, any runs completed to count, including if they cross at the instant when the ball became dead, inform and report.
Okay. Thank you for the clarity. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, Tom, we almost done. Yeah, just 6 more questions. I've combined a few, especially when it comes to the last hour and the penalty time question. So that's why there's only 6 more left. So let's look at the next one. There's a video. Look at the keeper. Look at what the keeper does, and then answer the appeal with reference to the relevant law. So what actions will you as the umpire take for 6 marks? Look at the keeper and look at what the keeper does. I'll play it again. Just look at the keeper. So Tom, in your hands, the huge appeal. You need to answer the appeal. And what actions will you as the umpire take, if any?
Rahul was the quickest wicket keeper in the house. But he has subsequently withdrawn his appeal, Abdullah, because his hand went down. It is back up now. So I will ask Rahul to unmute your microphone. Please give us your take on this scenario. Rahul from Canada.
All right, Tom. I was probably even faster than this wicket keeper. So, so in this case, since the ball is fair delivery ball, it goes to the keeper. The keeper deliberately. It's a clear case of deliberate deception by the wicket keeper. So I think that comes under the law 41 point something. I don't know the exact number, but under law 41, it would be deliberate deception by the wicket keeper of the batter. So the batter would be not out in this case. And since the batsman was also trying to run, in this case, even if the batters have not crossed, I think that 1 run should be accounted for, and 5 penalty runs should be awarded to the batting team, and then 1 run. So 6 total runs would be added to the batting team's score, and 5 penalty runs would be awarded. The ball doesn't count for the over, and then you inform and report this incident to the governing body. I think that would be my answer.
Great stuff, Rahul. You've scored 5 points out of 6. For the 6th mark, who faces the next delivery?
Okay, yeah. So now here in this case, since it's a deliberate deception, the umpire has to give the option to both the batters who wants to take the strike for the next ball. So it's optional for the batsman.
Correct. This is the only place in the law where the batters at the crease decide who is going to face the next delivery. Abdullah,
Yes.
did Rahul miss out anything, or has he got 6 out of 6 there?
Yeah, 6 out of 6 for bonus point. You could have said if there was a no ball or a wide, that also to count, but I'm definitely giving Rahul 6 out of 6.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Well done, Rahul.
Okay, let's question 19. We're almost done. Look at the video. Is the striker out bowled or is it a no ball? First answer the appeal. with reference to the relevant law or laws, and then what action will the umpire take, if any, for 6 marks?
Oh, bowled him. I wonder if it's a no ball. Well, we're going upstairs for this. We're going upstairs.
This is over the waistline. Yeah, and I think he's got a strong case.
Right, Abdullah, I think this one is still fresh in the memory of
Yeah, it is still fresh.
a few of them from last night. We've got 2 hands up. They are old hands, and this is a very, very easy 6 marks. So I'm going to wait until we have new hands to give us an answer. And if there are no new hands, then I am going to pick on somebody that I know should know the answer to this question and should get 6 marks. So I'm going to give them another 10 seconds to raise new hands. Otherwise, I'm going to ask for that person to raise their hand. So still no new hands. So I'm going to call on Mike Williams from Florida in the USA. Mike, are you with us? You've been sitting quietly in your beautiful corner of the world without any input. Or are you in the office and listening on the slide during work hours there in beautiful Florida?
A little bit of both, Tom. A little bit of both.
Good afternoon, there,
Mike. The ball will be a no ball. It's above waistline.
Great. So you've given us 2 marks so far out of 6. Mike, anything else to add? Remember what we've said in terms of answering these type of questions?
Yeah.
You need to tell us the law that is relevant to it. So apart from being a no ball, is there any other action that the umpire needs to take, considering that this delivery was directed at the striker? Also, easy marks to get. How many balls are left in the oven? Are you still with us, Mike, or do you want Abdullah to take us the full answer?
I got sidetracked a little bit, Tom, because I'm also working, so I'm sorry.
Sure. No problem, Mike. Thanks for joining during office hours.
Yeah, I'm going to review it later.
The rest of the Florida Cricket Umpires Association. Abdullah, you want to take us through the rest of the answers?
Yes, Tom. There is a bit of echoing.
Yes, I'll put Mike on mute because of the echo.
Okay. So we first cover what the law say, and the law tell us any delivery which passes or would have passed above waist height, striker standing upright at the popping crease. The law sees that as unfair. And if this is bowled, which in this case it was above waist height, striker standing upright at the popping crease, umpire needs to call and signal a no ball. So because it's a no ball, batter then cannot be out bowled. So setup will then be not out. Also, the law goes on further by telling us that by bowling an above waist height delivery that is dangerous, and if the umpire consider that it's dangerous and there's a risk of injury to the batter, the umpire then needs to give the bowler a caution, indicate to the bowler that this is your first and final warning. Inform the bowler, also the fielding captain, and this caution to apply throughout the innings to the bowler. With this being a no ball, ball needs to be rebowled, and if you can see on the screen, it's 48.4 when Lungi was about to bowl. So there are still 2 balls remaining in the over. This is the exam is based on law. I know this is a 50 over ODI. So if we know the playing conditions for 50 overs cricket stage, if it's a no ball, there'll be a free hit. But for the purpose of this exam, we don't mention anything about free hit. We need to answer according to law. Okay, next one. Here's an 8-mark question, Tom. Describe the procedure to be followed by the bowlers in umpire in dealing with a bowler who repeatedly in his or her follow through runs into the protected area. For 8 marks, so you need to start from that very first instance. And you need to answer your question according to law. And from the first instance up until that last instance. For 8 marks. It's an easy 8 marks.
Great theory question, Abdullah. We've got some usual suspects with their hands up. I think Pradiot has contributed to the lecture, but not answering a question. So let's give this to Pradiot Salunke from Dallas in Texas, USA.
Hi, Tom. Yes. Whenever the first instance happen, the bowler and umpire will give the first warning to the bowler saying that you are going to the protected area. It is not allowed, and he will tell to the captain and the batsmen that it's, and he'll make sure that the outside the third umpire, if it is televised, that the first warning is given. If the same bowler does it again, and that warning will stay there for that same inning. If the same bowler does the same thing, does not matter with the same umpire or the other umpire, there will be second warning given. And if there is a third attempt, then the bowler will be immediately taken off from the attack. They will inform to the captain that he or she cannot bowl anymore. The new bowler who has not bowled the previous over or going to bowl the next over will continue the remaining balls. And the 5 runs penalty will be awarded. Sorry, there's no 5-run penalty because that's a penalty that bowler cannot bowl throughout that inning.
Is this a matter to be reported to the
Yes, and yeah, report yes, timing report that matters to the governing body.
Does that cover all 8 marks, Abdullah?
Yeah, Tom, you can start by saying what the law say about it being unfair for the bowler to go into the protected area without reasonable cause. And then the first time they go in there without a reasonable cause, it's a caution. You inform the bowler, you inform his or her captain, you inform your colleague. And as Prayod said, if it's a televised game, yes, it needs to go to the TV umpire as well. Second time bowler goes in there, you'll now tell the bowler, this is now your final warning. You'll inform his or her captain as well. You'll inform your colleague as well. TV umpire, if it's a televised game, needs to be informed. And then the third time, if the bowler goes in there, now you need to ask the captain, or the bowler needs to be taken out of the attack or suspended. If it's mid-over, over needs to be completed by a bowler who didn't bowl the previous over, nor is the bowler allowed to bowl the next over, and then inform and report. And that is 8 marks.
Perfect. Thanks, Dula.
We're almost done, Tom. Two more questions after this, but those two questions are the numbers questions, the last hour questions and the penalty time questions. So looking at the pic below, for 4 marks, what actions would you take as the bowlers in umpire, if any?
Right, Abdullah, we have got our usual suspects with their hands up, but I'm waiting for a new hand because this is quite a straightforward scenario. So I'm expecting maybe a vice president of the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association to unmute his microphone and give us an answer. I won't mention a name, and I won't call him out if he doesn't unmute his microphone. Maybe he is busy with sunset prayers of the New Year's Eve. So no new hands has come up. I will then invite Rahul to unmute his microphone and give us the answer for this particular scenario.
Thank you, Tom. I think looking at the picture, it's a clear case of a deliberate no ball. Um, uh, I think in this case, no runs. It's deliberate no ball. So the umpire has to tell the bowler and award 5 penalty runs, or any runs scored would be still counted from this instance, and yeah, 5 penalty runs would be awarded, and the yeah, I think the batters. Yeah, I think that pretty much would be my answer.
Rahul, no, not 5 penalty runs. There's a different punishment for deliberate no ball. Suraj has got his hand up next. Let's see if Suraj knows the procedure to follow for a deliberate front foot no ball. Suraj, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi Tom. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, so this is as Rahul mentioned, this is a clear case of the bowler bowling the front foot no ball deliberately. So as usual, the umpires have to call and signal no ball, and when the ball is dead, we should also inform the captain of the fielding side to suspend the bowler from bowling with the immediate effect, and we should also keep our partner posted, the other umpire, and once the bowler is suspended, will not be allowed to bowl again in that innings. Another bowler shall complete the remaining quota of the over, and yeah, we should also inform the batters for the reason of our actions, and we should inform and report the incident to the governing body.
Can any bowler complete that over, Suraj?
Yeah, the one who has not bowled the previous over or is going to bowl the next over.
There we go. I think that is full marks. Abdullah, please confirm.
Yeah, definitely textbook answer.
Well done, Suraj. Rahul, I'm sure you've learned something from that answer.
Yes, I did. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good.
Okay, Tom, we're almost done. 2 more questions, but these are the number questions. I'm going to start with the penalty time questions. And with penalty time questions, break it up into smaller pieces. Take into account your scheduled breaks, and show all your calculations. In your answer, when you're writing the exam, show all your calcs. Don't just put the time that Paul can bowl. Show how you calculate it when the bowler or can bowl again. So opening bowler Paul pulls a groin
after bowling his 5th over at 10:48 during a 3-day game. Physio came on, received treatment, and then Paul only left at 10:50. There was a drinks break in this session from 11:10 till 11:14. Paul came back at 11:40. Everyone took lunch at 12:20 for 40 minutes. And first over after lunch, the fielding captain tosses the ball to Paul. What actions will you take, if any, for 4 marks? Any hands, Tom?
Yes, Abdullah, we've got 2 old hands, some experienced campaigners. They never go off the field for groin strains. They play through the pain. They know their laws. I'm looking for some new hands, but none seem to be forthcoming. So we're going to go with our number 1 from Dallas, Abir. Mr. Tesla, please take us through this scenario.
Thanks, Tom, for picking me up once again. So there are 2 things which should take into consideration. There are 2 intervals. So one interval for a break for drinks for 4 minutes, which is a part of a scheduled interval. And second, there is a interval for lunch from 12:20 to 13 hours, which is of 40 minutes. So if we calculate the number of or the time the bowler is out of the ground, so he got injured at 12:48, but he leaves the ground at 10:48, and but he leaves the field on 10:50. So his absence time is to be calculated from 10:50 because he leaves the field at 10:50, and he returns to the field at on 11:40. So his total period of absence from the field was of 50 minutes, if I'm correctly calculated. Yes, but in within that period of 50 minutes, there was 4 minutes time for interval for break. So his actual absence from field is 46 minutes. Now, and he will have to serve 46 minutes of for his absence before he can bowl. So he comes to the field of play at 11:40 and stays on field for another 40 minutes. That is from 11:40 to 12:20, and so he'll have to serve additional 6 minutes before he can bowl. So he can only bowl after 13:06 hours.
Abdullah, I think your memorandum will show that Abir has got 4 out of 4. In fact, maybe 5 out of 4, if that's possible.
6 out of 4, Tom. So yes, he started by correctly saying the clock only starts at 10:50. That 2 minutes from 10:48 till 10:50, that is just extenuating circumstances. You take it into account when calculating the overrate of the fielding side. So Paul left at 10:50, returned at 11:40, so 50 minutes off. But we do know there was a 4-minute drinks break while Paul was off. So he was off in total for 4 minutes drinks break. If you take that off, so in total, when Paul returns at 11:40, he owes us 46 minutes. Then when we took lunch at 12:20, Paul was then on the field for 40 minutes from 11:40 till 12:20. So that needs to be taken off from penalty time that he owes. So at the start of the lunch interval at 12:20, Paul owes us 6 minutes, which is total time that he owes us 46 minutes minus the 40 that he was on the field of play. So Paul can, with the lunch interval being a scheduled interval, doesn't count for against Paul. So you'll inform the fielding captain that Paul can only bowl at 13:06. All done, Abir. Next question, again a penalty time question. Break it up into smaller pieces.
when answering this. And again, for 4 marks, the question is when the opening bat John can bat. What is your response to the batting captain?
So even before you read the question, Abdullah, we have 2 hands up. Maybe please read the question for us, and hopefully we'll get a new hand to take us through this penalty time scenario.
So John pulls a hammy at 3 o'clock and leaves the field. T is taken at 15:20. So from 15:20 till 15:40 is T. John only returns to the field at 15:50. So he was on the field now from 15:50 for 20 minutes when there's a declaration at 16:10. And John being the opening bat, captain then asks you, when can John bat? What is your response?
I have finally got the new hand that I've been waiting for all lecture long, Abdullah.
Okay, who is that new hand? I'm also wanting to know. Who's that new hand, Tom?
Ilana Lombard with the youngest member of Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, PJ. PJ, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours for this penalty time
Hello,
question.
Tom. Hello, Abdullah.
Hello.
So he was off the field. So he was off the field for 50 minutes. Then you must first take the starting when you went off. So that's 3 o'clock, and then from 3 o'clock to 10 to 4, that's 50 minutes minus the 20. So that's 30 minutes, and then at 10 past 4. He served 20 minutes, so you will tell the batting captain he still owes us 10 minutes. So he can bat after that 10 minutes or after quick 5 wickets.
Okay, have we considered the tea time? PJ, remember tea time is a scheduled interval, and it doesn't tell us how long the tea time is.
So Tom, so Tom, yes, he took it into account. There's various ways to do this. For me, the best way is to break it up into smaller pieces. It just helps you, keep track, PJ, of where you are. Yes, there's nothing wrong with your method. You've got it spot on. Yes, John needs to wait 10 minutes or if the side's 5 wickets down before he can bat again. But the best method to answer any penalty time question is to rather break it up into smaller pieces. It just helps you keep track of where you are and what the injured fielder, what penalty time the injured fielder owes us. It gets very complex because if a fielder goes off multiple times and he still owes a penalty time, then doing the combined method like you will so many times not give you the correct answer. But if you break it up into smaller pieces, it will just help you keep track of the penalty time that the injured player owe us. And as I said, it will really help you if someone goes off multiple times to do it, to rather do it the breaking up into smaller pieces method instead of the combined method that you've applied in this scenario. So just to show you what I mean by breaking it up into smaller pieces. So with John leaving at 3 o'clock and T being taken at 20 past 3. So at the start of the tea interval at 20 past 3, John owe us 20 minutes of penalty time. That's from 3 till 20 past 3. We know tea is 20 minutes. So from 15:20 till 15:40, it's a scheduled interval. And this will not count for John, nor will it count against John. Then they go further. So now we know at T, John owes us 20 minutes. But then they tell us John only returns to the field at 15:50. So after tea, which was 15:40, everyone returned. So from 15:40 till 15:50, that's another 10 minutes that John was not on the field of play. So that needs to be added to the penalty time that John owes us. So the 20 that John owed us, plus the 10 minutes from 15:40 till 15:50. So John owes us at 15:50 when he returns to the field 30 minutes of penalty time. Then the question goes further, telling us at 16:10, John, there's a declaration. So now the batting captain wants to know when can John bat. So 16:10 was the declaration. We now know there's a change of innings interval at 16:10. We know the change of innings interval is 10 minutes. So from 16:10 till 16:20 is a change of innings interval. So again, breaking up into smaller pieces. At 16:10, how much penalty time does John owe us? So with John returning at 15:50 and the declaration happening at 16:10, that's 20 minutes that John was on the field. So now you can take that 20 minutes that John was on the field off from the 30 minutes that John owes us. So 30 minus 20 is 10 minutes. So at 16:10, when the declaration happens, John owes us 10 minutes of penalty time. So we know it. Change of innings is 10 minutes. The new innings to start at 16:20. So the message that we will give to the batting captain now is, John can bat at 16:30 because he owes us 10 minutes, or if the side is 5 wickets down, whichever comes first. So well done, PJ. Got your answers spot on. But for me, the best method is rather break it up into smaller pieces. It will come you to good stead when there is a field that goes off multiple times during the day. And if you do the combined method, it's going to complicate stuff. But doing the breaking up into smaller pieces method will help you keep track of the penalty time that the injured fielder owes us. PJ? Happy?
Yes, thank you, Abdullah.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome.
Well done, PJ. Thank you, Abdullah. Before we move to our next question, I just want to wish all our candidates and listeners and viewers from India a happy new year. It has just gone midnight in their time zone. So we wish you all the best for 2025. And we hope that you see us for more lectures and more scenarios in years to come, not just next year. Malati, you put your hand up during the answering of that question. Do you have a question related to that penalty time scenario?
Yes, Tom and Abdullah. So they have not mentioned the tea interval time actually, right? So it could also be 10 minutes. So how did you take it as 20 minutes?
So Malati, in modern cricket across the world, from Test cricket to provincial to club cricket, tea is 20 minutes with lunch being 40. I know there might be other competitions where your meals interval might differ, and if they do differ, we need to take that into account. So if there is a competition where they tell us tea is maybe 10 minutes or lunch is 30 minutes, we then need to take that into account. But what I used was the times for our meals that the International Cricket Council used for Test match cricket, and lunch in Test match cricket is 40 minutes, and their tea time in modern cricket is 20 minutes. So yes, Malati, you are correct. We get governed or guided by the playing conditions for a specific competition. Just for ease of reference, I use Test match playing conditions as in my examples. But if you do have in your competitions where it is slightly less or even slightly more, you need to use those times when you do your calculations.
So for this exam, do we then assume that it's going to be only the test match conditions we'll be using? for these interval times if it is not specified?
Yes, we will be using 40-minute lunch interval and 20 minutes tea interval and 10 minutes
Okay.
for change of innings.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Tom, the last question for the evening, again, is a numbers question. It's the last hour question. It's broken up into two parts. Firstly, there is a rain interruption in the last hour after the last hour has started. And then the second part is still in that same game, still in the last hour. Now there's an innings change in the last hour. So let's first tackle the first portion. There's an interruption after the last hour have started in our game. So last hour in our 3-day game starts at 16:42. After 5.5 overs, it starts to rain, and play resumes at 16:58. Play suspended at 16:58 and resumes at 17:09 for 4 marks. So all your calcs in determining how many overs left in the last hour.
Okay, so I think a few people are still digesting that one, Dula. Maybe read it over again.
Yeah, no problem. Again, we with any of these calculation type questions, read them, break it up into smaller pieces. And we'll start by last hour in this particular game, starting at 16:42. So we know our last hour starts at 16:42, our last hour being 60 minutes. So our last hour will be from 16:42 till 17:42. After 5 overs were bowled, it starts to rain and play is suspended at 16:58. Short interruption because umpires after inspections decide that play can resume at 17:09. So there was an 11-minute break. So how many, with all your calcs, how many overs left in the last hour for 4 marks?
Thanks, Dula. 2 hands up. First hand up was Suraj. Happy New Year, Suraj. Please unmute your microphone. Take us through the scenario.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. So firstly, we need to note down the time lost in total, which is from 16:58 to 17:09, which comes to 11 minutes. Okay, and so minimum over number of overs to be bowled in the last hour is 20 in total. So the completed overs are 5.5, which we need to deduct, and I think if I'm correct, we need to round it down to 5 overs. So 20 minus 5, 15 overs are still to be bowled, which we can note down at one place. And then out of the 11 minutes that we lost before we resume the play, we can divide it by 3, which comes to 3 point in the decimals. We can again leave the decimal and consider only 3 as the whole number, which can be deducted from the earlier number we had got, number of overs to be bowled as 15. So from the remaining time of last hour, we need to still bowl 12 more overs.
Suraj, Abdullah will take us through the correct answer. You were almost there. Just remember, you do not round down or round up overs that have been bowled. Okay. You only need to do rounding when you are calculating how many overs need to be lost or deducted. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Thanks, Tom.
Dula, you want to take us through it?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. So time we lost due to rain was from 16:58 until 17:09, and that equates to 11 minutes. So we now need to convert that 11 minutes into overs. So 11 divided by 3 gives us 3.66. The law tells us we only take the completed overs. So that's why we only deduct 3 overs. So the overs left was 20 overs at the start of the last hour. We lost 3 due to rain, and we've bowled 5.5. So when it comes to the last hour, and last hour comes with its own set of rules, and here when it comes to if the last hour started and we do lose time due to rain, no rounding up of overs. You take that 5.5 overs that was bowled, you take it to the ball. So the overs left was 20 minus the 3 minus the 5.5. So upon return, the fielding side needs to bowl a minimum of 11.1 overs in the last hour. So don't round up or down. You take it to the ball when it comes to working out the overs that was bowled, when it comes to working out how many overs left.
Perfect.
So now
Thanks, Dula.
now we know this 11.1 overs minimum left in the last hour when play resumes at 17:09. So we've answered the first part of the question. Let me go back to, because now there's a second part. Same question, same game, same last hour. Now they go further and they tell us after the completion of the over at 17:10. So at 17:09, we know 11.1 overs needs to be bowled. We go back, play start at 17:09, it's 11.1, and we bowl that ball. Now they say after the completion of that over, we've bowled that one ball, and we finish that one ball at 17:10. Then a further 3 overs were bowled when there was a declaration at 17:21. Now they're asking you, so all your calculations in determining how many overs still needs to be bowled in the last hour. So 24.1 was an interruption in the last hour, and we've just dealt with it. 24.2 is there's now an innings change in the last hour. So now, how do we calculate how many overs left when there's an innings change in the last hour?
Tough one, this, Dula. No hands at the moment. I am waiting for any new hands, any hands whatsoever, to take us through this scenario. The law gurus who were coming to the fore earlier are now maybe looking forward to a happy New Year celebration. But we do have SM with his or her hand up first. SM, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
So after the completion of first scenario, there were minimum of 11.1 overs remaining. So after the completion of the over at 15:10, so it means 11. A further 3 overs were bowled before there was a declaration at 5:21. So 11 minus 3, 8 overs still needs to be bowled minimum for that particular thing. But now the declaration has happened 5:21. So 5:21, we eliminate 3 overs. We have to calculate this scenario in 2 ways basically. One is the time based, the other is the over based. So first of all, the over based, if we go with the over based, so 5:31 is the resumption of play after the declaration. So 3 overs for that reduces from the initial 8 overs. So minimum 5 overs in case 1. Case 2, it would be 5:21 till 5:42. So we another have 5:31. Sorry, we have 11 minutes left. 11 minutes is basically 3 point something overs. So we round up to 4 overs. So in either case, it's one is 5 overs, the other is 4 overs. We'll go with the maximum of that. So minimum 5 overs needs to be bowled in that particular last over.
SM textbook answer 4 out of 4. So yes, there are, when there's a innings change in the last hour, 2 calculations needs to be made. There's an overs based calc and there's a a time-based calc. So for the overs-based calc, there were the overs was completed, so there was 11 left, then they bowled 3, so then there was 8 left. We then take 3 off for the change of innings, so your overs-based calc answer is 5 overs left minimum. And then your time-based calc, we know the last hour was from 16:42 until 17:42. So that's still 21 minutes left when the innings ended. We need to take off 10 minutes for the change of innings. 11, then that answer, which is 11, we divided it by 3. We then get 3.66. The law tells us you take the 3, and if there's a fraction left, you add another over. So 3 overs plus 1 gives us 4 overs. And the law tells us, please take the greater of the two calculations. Your overs-based calc was 5 overs left. Your time-based calc was 4. The greater of the two is 5 overs left minimum when play restart. Well done, SM. Tom, thank you so much. That's all revision questions that I have for this evening. I'm handing back to you now.
Thanks so much, Abdullah. A long, thorough, and very productive revision session for all the candidates, and I thank all 24 of you still with us this late into the year. What we're going to do now is go into the chat box to see if there have been any questions that have gone unanswered. What I have done during the revision lecture by Abdullah is answered the questions that I could, simply to spare us time. Paul was asking about the test match times for Newlands. The New Year's test match that starts on the 3rd of Jan. Paul, just be careful. Your ticket might say that it starts at 10:30 in the morning. It did say that the 2024 New Year's test match against India would start at 10:30 in the morning. I got there at 10:25. To my surprise, there were already 5 overs bowled in the test match. So the match actually started at 10 a.m., even though my ticket said it would start at 10:30. So just to be on the safe side, I'd advise you get to Newlands before 10 o'clock, just in case it is a 10 a.m. start. However, if it is a 10:30 a.m. start, 2-hour sessions, 10:30 to 12:30, lunch from 12:30 to 13:10, middle session from 13:10 to 15:10, tea from 15:10 to 15:30, final session 15:30 to 17:30. If they haven't completed 90 overs in the day, at 17:30, they can play on until 1800 or 90 overs, whichever comes first. If we don't get to 90 overs, play needs to stop at 1800. Those are test match playing condition times. So Ganesh has got a question. Play is in progress. The bowler delivers the ball at the same time. A fielder talks to another fielder. What happens next? Ganesh, we are all taught when we start playing cricket that you should not talk as a fielder or a bowler when the bowler is running up to the stumps. It can distract the striker, and we know if the striker pulls out and away from the stumps, then the bowler's in umpire needs to call and signal dead ball. And even if that ball is bowled, it will not count as a legal delivery in the over. It needs to be rebowled. You can also warn the fielding side. Maybe if it's the first time that they do it, give them a friendly warning, telling them that next time, if they do that, they will get an official warning for time wasting. Scrolling through the chat box, Nico Tiart asks, will these questions be on YouTube to practice before the test and do a reminder to help? Nico, yes. All our lectures are recorded and are always posted on YouTube. I will post this lecture recording tomorrow, probably in the afternoon, South African time. I will also send the revision questions that Abdullah has gone through this evening to all of you. And I know that a few of you have noticed that during the presentation, we've changed the presentation a little bit to add videos, change a few comments, just to keep it as relevant and as updated as possible. So that new presentation, especially with Abdullah's revision questions for the last hour scenarios and penalty time scenarios, will also be sent out tomorrow afternoon. Atik, you finally got your hand up. I've been waiting for you to answer a revision question the whole evening. But
Sorry, Mr. Tom. In between, bit interruption was there. I apologize. Yes, true. Fourth question, I had some doubt I was going through. So that is a short run, but here 2 arrows are given in this fourth question in this image.
Yes, I think the 2 arrows were just to show that the batter turned. So he was going in that direction and then he went.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. But it is a short run. It is a short run.
What you needed to decide there, Atik, was, is it a unintentional short run or was it a deliberate short run? What do you think?
Deliberate it can be.
If it's a meter short, that one was actually 1.6 meters short. Definitely a deliberate short run.
Yeah, and, deliberate short run.
We've gone through the process that needs to be followed by the umpires to punish the batting side for a deliberate short run.
Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah. That's and another question, Mr. Tom, about the ball hitting the helmet. That one gully fielder fielding and missing the wicket, and the ball is hitting the helmet behind, which is kept behind the wicket keeper. So when the ball is hitting the helmet, the ball becomes dead, and 5 penalty runs are awarded, right?
5 penalty runs will be awarded if the ball does not hit the pad of or the person of the striker.
Yeah.
If they are not playing a shot. If they are playing a shot, then 5 penalty runs will be awarded. But if the striker is shouldering arms, so not playing a shot, the ball hits the pad and then goes past the wicket keeper and hits the helmet placed behind the wicket keeper, then 5 penalty runs will not be awarded to the batting side. Okay.
Yeah.
Happy?
Yes. Fine. Thank you.
All the best for the exam, Professor T.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to you and your family.
Yeah, same to you. Happy New Year to you all. Already, I'm on vacation here in India, so already we are in New Year.
Oh, you're in India.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So I wish all colleagues, friends, Happy New Year to you all. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Rahul, you've got your hand up. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Tom. First of all, I want to wish everybody a very happy new year to them and their families. I have you a little bit. So fair delivery is bowled. The batter plays the ball, hits this bat, goes to the square leg, and the square leg throws the ball. And during this process, the wicketkeeper removes one of his glove, but he doesn't discard the glove. The glove is still in his hand, and then he fields the ball with that and runs the striker, non-striker run out when the non-striker is out of his ground. So my question was, when the wicket keeper removes his glove and doesn't discard it, um, would it still be counting it as as a part of his person? Because here, if it is counted as a part of his person, the run out can be valid. But if it is not part of the person, then it could be a case of illegal fielding. So, what would be the correct answer as per the laws? Because I read of the everything in the laws, but it doesn't tell me anything about a glove which is not discarded. So if you can shed some light on this kind of scenario.
A very good question, Rahul. There was a similar scenario in a World Cup qualifier tournament in Zimbabwe in June, July 2023, where I can't remember the team, but the wicket keeper took one of his gloves off and he caught the ball with the second glove in the other hand, and the two hands were together when he caught the ball. So the ball touched the glove that has been taken off, but not, as you say, discarded. But law tells us that gloves and any equipment, external or internal, needs to be worn to be considered as part of the person of the fielder. So as soon as the ball hits that glove that has been taken off, even though it is in hand, law tells us that it is considered illegal fielding and 5 penalty runs are awarded to the batting side. The ball automatically becomes dead, but it is good umpiring practice to call and signal dead ball because not everybody knows this law. And the ball shall not count as one of the over, and any runs completed will be added to the score as well as a run in progress if the batters had crossed at the instant of the illegal fielding.
Right.
Inform and report.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this would be a clear case of illegal fielding because it's not worn by the keeper. It's discarded, but it's still in his hand. So yeah, that thanks for the clarification, Tom. I really appreciate both you and Abdullah for organizing all these 6 lectures. I hope like we do a good job in the exam and put all your efforts to fruit. So we really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and I wish you all the best for the exam.
Thank
So
you.
we've got more hands raised. So before I carry on with the questions in the chat box, Rahul, you had your hand up first. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
No, Tom. I think I raised my hand for the previous question, so I think I'm all good. Thank you.
Okay, all good. Thanks, Rahul. Abir,
Hey,
you've got your hand up as well.
hey
Please
Tom.
unmute the microphone. Floor
Hey
is
Tom,
yours.
I had a question, Tom. Just a follow up on the scenario that was just described now.
Yes.
Instead of the glove, what if it was a towel that was stuck on the back of a fielder or a wicketkeeper in this case, and ball coming in contact with that, ball and play coming in contact with that? How would that be different if it is different?
So Abdullah, please correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think I remember the ICC giving clarity on towels tucked in behind the pants of a bowler or any other fielder. So there is no specific place where a towel needs to be tucked in. So we know that gloves need to be on a hand and helmet needs to be on a head, but a towel doesn't need to be in a pocket or it doesn't need to be tucked in at a specific point or of the pants of a fielder or a bowler. So if the ball hits a towel that is tucked in anywhere on a fielder's person, it will not be considered illegal fielding because as long as it's on that fielder's person, it is considered as part of his or her person. Abdullah, please correct me if I'm wrong in that explanation.
You correct, Tom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom and Abdullah. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, Deepak. Abir, you had your hand up after Deepak. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so just a follow-up on what we had from Rahul, that was keeper's glove. Similarly, if the batsman is taking his gloves off his hand, right? So that glove, if it is held in the hand of the batsman, should not be considered as part of his gloves, right? So even if it is held in the hand of the batsman. So the batsman takes the gloves off. He's holding it on the left hand, and I'm just trying to visualize the scenario. He has also left the bat off the other hand. So now the glove, the bat which is grounded inside, is touching the glove which is held in a hand, but it is not worn. So will you consider that as the batsman covering his ground? So the batsman is standing outside the popping crease, right? The bat is inside. It is touching the glove, which is held in a hand. The glove has been discarded. The batter is not wearing the glove, and it is touching the glove. The handle of the bat is touching the glove, which is not worn but held at the batsman's hand. It's a bit complex, I know.
Yeah, Abir, for the purposes of all the listeners, I'm trying to find a picture from level 1, which is similar to the scenario that you are describing. Just bear with me as I try and find it. But you're quite right. If a glove is not worn by the striker and the striker is out of his crease and the bat is in the crease and it is leaning on the glove that is not worn, which is leaning against the person of the non-striker or the striker, then that person will be considered outside of his or her crease. So I've got this picture. I'm just going to share it. Bear with me as I display it. So not exactly what you are describing, Abir, but if, for example, in this striker's right hand, he had two gloves unworn, and that bat was leaning on those gloves, which were against his hamstring, the back of his leg, he would still be considered outside of his crease because the gloves are not worn. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Abir.
Thanks, Tom. It answers my question. And to follow up to what Deepak has mentioned, right, on the towel. So he is tucked in the trouser. I know it's part of the person, but if he has taken the towel out while the ball was in play, it has moved to the ground, and then when he catches the ball, the towel is held in his hand. Then it should be treated as a dead ball at the moment, and 5 penalty runs should be given to the batting side. Right?
Correct. As soon as any external equipment is taken out of its position or place that it should be, so helmet discarded, gloves discarded, towel discarded, then if the ball comes into contact with those discarded items, then it will be considered illegal fielding. If those items fall off the person of the fielder by mistake, and we showed an example of that 2 lectures ago, and the ball comes into contact with the accidentally removed item, then it will not be considered illegal fielding. Happy?
Yes, sir, as always.
Good. Pradyot, you've got your hand up. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Sure, I have a question, Tom. Do batter need to appeal for the distraction? Example, if the bowler is bowling and his towel is fell down when the ball is delivered, or the glasses fell down, batsman still hit the boundary. Does it batsman need to appeal, or umpire says that no, it must be the distraction because while the ball was in play, towel fell down, batsman might have distracted. The reason I'm asking, in a youth cricket, especially the kids don't wear that band over there, their glasses fell down over there, it flies. We see that definitely something is flying from while they're bowling, but because it's not too fast delivery, batsman still hit 4 or 6 on that ball. So being an umpire, what should we do?
Pradyot, no appeal is necessary because batters don't appeal. You, as the bowlers and umpire, need to decide if the striker was distracted or not. If the striker himself or herself moves away from the delivery, then we know that they have been distracted. But if they play at the shot, but maybe miss the shot and are bowled, then you need to decide, was the falling of the towel a distraction to them or not? And if they walk off the field because they haven't seen the towel fall, and they know that they've been bowled, then you're not going to call and signal dead ball for distraction. But if they point at the towel that is now lying on the ground, then you do call and signal dead ball for distraction, and the ball needs to be rebowled. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, sure, thanks. And same goes for that noise distractions also, right? If somebody get outside noise distraction, inside or outside, if the batsman doesn't walk up, they continue to play. We don't call it as a distraction to them, right?
You need to treat every scenario on its merits. But yes, if you can see that there is a distraction by the batter's reaction, then you call and signal dead ball. If you don't see any reaction by the striker to the distraction, then you allow play to continue.
Okay, sure, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Right, carrying on through the chat box now. Lots of well wishes for New Year. We are now past midnight in Pakistan, so all of you joining us from Pakistan, wish you a happy New Year and all the best for 2025. Rahul, thank you for your well wishes. Faisal, thank you for your well wishes. Malati, thank you for your well wishes. SM, thank you for your well wishes. Mustafa Oberey, our vice president, who was very silent throughout the lecture. I asked him to answer one of our revision questions. He didn't take the bait, but he has wished everyone a happy new year and God bless to all of you. Looks like we have a scenario in the middle of all the New Year's wishes, Abdullah. From Paul, a batter shoulders arms, ball hits the pad, goes past the keeper. Batters are not allowed to run. Dead ball called. We have to explain everything about the run out and ball hitting helmet, but they are not allowed to run. Paul, go back to the lecture. I think it was last week, Monday, maybe last week, Tuesday. Abdullah has gone through that scenario in thorough detail. But just to summarize it, The batters are allowed to run. When they complete the first run, you call and signal dead ball, disallow all runs to the batting side, send them back to their original ends. And if they do get run out, then they are run out. It is them who are being naive about the law, and so they can be run out. And that is why we only call and signal dead ball once the first run is complete. Alok, wishing everybody a happy new year. All the best for the exam. Alok, Abir, just following up on a scenario that we have discussed. SM, also following up a scenario that we've discussed. Let's just read because he does ask a question. Just to add to Rahul's question, what if the glove is tucked in the trouser of the wicketkeeper and the ball comes into contact with that? SM, that is not the correct positioning for a glove. So if the ball hits a glove that has been tucked into the back or the front of a wicketkeeper's pants, then it is considered illegal fielding. Abdullah, please just confirm that for me. I don't want to give the candidates wrong information.
Tom, this question actually came up at the cricketing committee sometime last year, where it is common practice now, fielders putting caps at the back, wicket keepers putting their gloves at the back, especially those last few overs. So the cricketing committee decided that caps being put at the back of fielders, keepers' gloves being tucked in the back of his or her trouser will not be penalized, will not be seen as illegal fielding. It's not covered in the law, but the cricketing committee discussed it and they made the decision for consistency. We're not going to penalize fielders with caps in their keepers' gloves in there. Yes, if it's lying on the floor, deliberately discarded, that's another thing. But with the keeper is allowed now to put the one glove at the back, cap at the back, and if the ball touches it, not illegal fielding. Over.
Great to know. Thank you very much for clarifying that, Abdullah. And always quite important for us not only to know our laws, but also to study our playing conditions and any decisions from the International Cricket Council as to how to apply laws or playing conditions to specific scenarios like this one. So thanks very much for that, Abdullah. So Abir is wishing everybody a happy new year, and Abir, you are welcome for our contribution to cricket umpiring around the world, and we hope to see you in Dallas sometime again next year. We are planning a trip to North America in June of 2025, so hopefully Dallas will be one of our stops again. Your hand is up, Abir. Please unmute. The floor is yours.
Just to let you know, I've been working with the client, and there is going to be a planned trip to at least Joburg sometime end of March. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that if I'm there, I'll definitely come and give you a shout and meet you in person.
Great stuff. Abir, I'm sure you know we're based in Cape Town. And yes, we might travel to Johannesburg for a match, but if you can make it to Cape Town, we can even get you a club cricket match here in the beautiful mother city. You're most welcome to visit.
Plan that if I'm staying there for a couple of weeks, if I get a weekend, definitely I'll try to plan something. I'll keep you posted.
Fantastic. Please do. last messages from Paul and Ambir as well in the chat box, wishing everybody a happy new year, and also wishing everybody well for the level 3 exam coming up on the 4th and the 6th of January. Ladies and gents, there are no more questions or comments in the chat box. There are no more hands up in the meeting room. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for your attendance and your engagement over not just tonight, but the 6 lectures that we have delivered, especially on Christmas Eve and on New Year's Eve. It is only 2 hours and 45 minutes before midnight here in South Africa. So it shows your commitment, especially those who have already crossed over into 2025 for your development in umpiring. So thank you once again. All the best for the exams. If there are any questions or queries about the exam, you've all got my WhatsApp number. I'll be sending plenty of material on email over the next couple of days. I'm sure you're well prepared. Enjoy your celebrations tonight, and we will see you all in 2025. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks, Tom. Same to you. Thanks, Abdullah.
Cheers, Atik. And
Thanks.
yeah, you
Happy
are
New Year.
all welcome to put your cameras on and wave Happy New Year and
Yeah, Happy New Year all
good night.
colleagues, friends, Mr. Tom Abdullah.